In this video, I'm going to summarize every state in the United States in maybe 2 or 3 sentences, and at the end, I'll be ranking all of them. I'm going to be going in alphabetical order. I don't really feel like writing an intro, so let's just get started, okay? Going up first is Alabama. Its flag is probably inspired by the Confederate flag, which already loses its points. But other than that, it's really southern and poor, with it scoring in the bottom 5 for the average income out of each state in the United States. But there are definitely some important people born there, like Helen Keller, Rosa Parks, Charles Barkley from Space Jam, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Second state is Alaska, the state that probably should belong to the Canadians, but Russia gave us a hella good deal on it, so now it's ours. Anyways, everybody pretty much knows Alaska for being big and cold as fuck. In fact, the coldest temperature ever recorded in the United States was 80 degrees below zero in Prospect Creek, Alaska. Other than that, Alaska is a pretty bland state as far as I've heard. Freezing wastelands for hundreds of miles and nothing really else to do other than climb big mountains. Literally, every mountain in the top 10 biggest mountains in the US are from Alaska. Oh, also, there's a dog sledding race in Alaska called the Iditarod. I remember in 6th grade I had a teacher who was fucking obsessed with the Iditarod and made us do huge projects on it. Made me fucking miserable. I hated the Iditarod and everything inside Alaska for that matter. Okay, next is Arizona. You know how I said Alaska is mostly freezing wasteland? Freezing wastelands for hundreds of miles? Well, Arizona is the exact opposite from that. It's just scorching hot desert for miles in some places. Same can be said for most of the states around that area, but we'll get into those later. Anyways, despite Arizona's extreme heat, Arizona has some really tall mountains that are usually snow covered, which is kinda crazy to think about when temperatures can get hot as this. Oh, I almost forgot to mention the Grand Canyon, which if you've ever been there, you know why I almost forgot to mention it, because it's so fucking boring and forgettable. Unless you like staying in a big hole for long periods of time, you'll spend most of your time looking at maps trying to figure out where the fuck you're at. If you actually want to do something fun in Arizona, go to the Camelback Mountain. Way more fun than the fucking boring ass Grand Canyon. Arkansas. Well, ever since I heard somebody pronounce Arkansas like Arkansas.
Arkansas. Yes, it's spelled Arkansas, but it's pronounced Arkansas. You have the French to blame for this.
I always pronounced Arkansas wrong until I was like 11. It's pronounced Arkansas because of the French, which is dumb, and I always pronounce it like Arkansas to the end of time. Also, the flag sucks, and every flag Arkansas has ever used sucks. California, the Golden State, I think they call it. You know, as well known as popular California is, I don't really have any strong opinions about it. Probably because I've never been to the West Coast. But I think I don't really find California that interesting. I do find Death Valley cool. It's where the highest temperature in the US was recorded, at 134 degrees Fahrenheit. Also, California is home to Mount Whitney, which is the 11th highest mountain in the US, or the highest mountain in the US that isn't in Alaska. Pretty cool. Colorado. Colorado is one of the 2 states that have perfectly square borders. And by perfectly square, I mean 697 sides. Also, Colorado is a huge mountain state. Out of the top 50 highest peaks in the West, 28 of them are in Colorado. That's literally 56% of the top 50. By the way, did you notice out of the 6 states I've talked about so far, I've mentioned mountains in 4 of them? Can you tell I really like mountains? I'm gonna keep a counter for how many times I mention mountains now. Connecticut, bigger Rhode Island. Delaware. Delaware is the first state to be created, and that's pretty much all everybody knows about the state. I have very little to say for these smaller states in the list. There's literally just nothing in them. District of Columbia, aka Washington, D.C. The capital of the United States, and even though it's tinier than anything listed here, it's probably one of the most, if not the most important thing on this list. It has all the government buildings there. White House, Pentagon, the Supreme Court building, and more. It has almost 700,000 people living there, which is more than 2 entire states. Florida. Listen, I know all of you know that Florida is objectively the craziest state in the US, The Florida man is a highly dangerous species. Combine that with crocodiles and alligators, hurricanes, horrendous heat, and other batshit insane stuff, and you'll probably get one of the craziest places in the world. Georgia, state that's primarily known for its peaches, and shares its name with a country on the other side of the earth. Kind of weird how they ended up with the same name for entirely different reasons. It was one of the last 13 OG colonies to form, and became a state in 1788. Hawaii. Hawaii is a tiny little island state that definitely has 8 islands, and is somehow larger than 7 states somehow. It's also home to the largest volcano on Earth, the Mauna Loa, I think it's called, and also Mauna Kea, technically the largest mountain on Earth if you measure it from the base like a little dumb stupid idiot. Idaho. Potatoes, pretty much farmland and valleys except for a few mountains spread out here and there. Illinois. Chicago, and that's pretty much it. Springfield too, I guess, but mostly Chicago. Illinois doesn't have a lot of mountains, but what it lacks in mountains, it makes up for tall buildings. Chicago has 2 of the top 10 tallest buildings in America, with the other 8 being in New York City. The 2 tall buildings are the Trump International Hotel and Tower, and the Sears Willis Tower, which held the world record for the tallest building from 1974 to 1998. Indiana. Even though I've never been to Indiana, I kinda like it. It has the Indy 500, it has some pretty cool state insignia, its state bird is a cardinal, its state gun is the Grassland Rifle, its state fossil is the Mastodon, and its state aircraft is the Republic P-47 Thunderbolt. Iowa. The state definitely makes it in the top 5 most empty states, with its only real competition being other Midwest states. The only populated place in Iowa is Des Moines, and if you're not in Des Moines, you're either a farmer, live in a town with 5 people or less in it, or you don't exist. Driving through Iowa can be okay at best and unbearable at worst. One state that I do think is more empty though is Kansas. Its fields for an infinite amount of miles. A true pinnacle of the Midwest. Kentucky. I'm 100% sure that the thing that's most known about Kentucky is KFC. Go ahead and ask the average American what they think the capital of Kentucky is, and most probably couldn't tell you. But if you ask the average American if they've heard of KFC, I'm sure I'll get a yes 95% of the time. By the way, Kentucky's capital is Frankfort, which has a shockingly low population of 27,000 people, which puts it in the top 5 least populated state capitals. Louisiana. The great state that's known for always ending up at the bottom of the worst states list. 47th for income rank. Violent crime. Worst state for working mothers, which I didn't even know that list existed. Worst state for women's and children's health care, and that shit only goes on and on and on. Seriously, look it up. It's genuinely shocking and sad the amount of things it's bad at. The only good thing I can think of when it comes to Louisiana is the Louisiana Purchase, which happened 220 years ago. It has been 220 years since Louisiana has caught it up. They should just save themselves the embarrassment and merge with Texas at this point. Maine. A lot of people find Maine boring and don't care about it, but hear me out. Number 1, lobster. Number 2, the state bird is a cute little feller called the chickadee. 3, Maine has a cat as one of its state animals, and Maine even has a mountain and a desert. It's hard to get much better. Massachusetts. We're finally in the state I was born in, and I think it's a cool state. First of all, it's another state with the cat as one of the state animals. It even has a dog as a state animal too. It's a Boston Terrier, which is a state animal for pretty obvious reasons. It also lists dinosaurs tracks as one of its state fossils, which is pretty funny. Second place for median income rank, and it at least ranks top 10 in a bunch of categories. On top of all of that, it's shaped like a gun. Massachusetts gets the prestigious Kindzakat stamp of approval. Michigan is a fine state. Michigan is the top 10 for most populated states, which I'm pretty surprised about. Michigan is surrounded by the Great Lakes and also has a huge upper peninsula, which I'm confused on why isn't it just a part of Wisconsin? It's not like anybody lives there, so I doubt it changed much of anything. Also Detroit. Let's just move on. Minnesota. Let's go! We're finally at my state. If you didn't know, which you probably didn't, I live in Minnesota, aka a pretty great state. Minnesota commonly ranks top 10 for the best states to live in. It has cool places to visit like Minneapolis, Stillwater, Duluth, and more. Minnesota's top 1 for infrastructure according to this random website, and top 10 for environment and opportunity. Mississippi is a quote-unquote home of the Mississippi River, which would actually be called the Minnesota River because it begins in Minnesota, and even if you don't want to give it to Minnesota for whatever reason, the last state it flows through is Louisiana, so it at least should be called the Louisiana River. There's no reason to call it the Mississippi River. Anyways, Mississippi used to have an ugly Confederate flag, but recently changed it to a flag that looks 10 times better. Missouri. More like misery. Ha 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 ha. Hey, if you're this far into the video, I just want to say thanks for watching. If I've counted correctly, we're about halfway through the states, and I've been writing my script for about 6 days now. Anyways, if you want to support me, you can like, maybe even subscribe. It helps me out, and it's a good thing to help out smaller creators. But even if you don't do that, I still hope you're enjoying the video. Now let's get back to talking about states, starting with Montana. While Montana doesn't have mountains in the top 50, Montana has a lot in the 250 to 450 zone. Unfortunately, I do have to dock points for Montana for and also, Montana has an awful flag. The flag is literally just a generic blue. Almost every state flag uses with its name on the flag and it's stained steel but drawn worse. But hey, Shep the dog balances all of that out. Nebraska. From what I've heard, Nebraska is just Kansas 2.0. So if you want to know what I think about Nebraska, go back to my part about Kansas. Nevada. I mean, Nevada is just a very crazy state. Las Vegas and gambling, Area 51, vast and dry deserts with a good amount of mountains. The place was even used for nuclear bomb testing, which is crazy. New Hampshire. Oh look, it's Vermont, but slightly better in almost every aspect. And when I mean slightly, I mean slightly. New Jersey. I don't really have anything interesting about the state other than its impressive list of people who were born there or at least lived in New Jersey. And it's also top 3 for income. Pretty good state. Next. New Mexico. Apparently one of New Mexico's state insignia is the smell of roasting green chili, which is interesting. Also, it's apparently one of the top 5 worst states to live in. But hey, it's all made up for the fact that the flag is a banger, so who cares? Mountain. Alright, it's time for New York. There's honestly a shit ton of things in New York, so I'm just gonna speed run this one. 3, 2, 1. Long Island, NYC, Albany, Buffalo, Adirondack, and Catskill Mountains, Niagara Falls, Times Square, Central Park, the HQ of the United States, the Statue of Liberty, 9/11, cultural, financial, and media capital of the world, subways, NYPD, Castanet rides, and a whole bunch of rides throughout history, actually, and most importantly, subway rats.
You see the rat running around inside a subway car, then, while one guy is sleeping in
North Carolina. Part of the Appalachian, says North in its name, but it's actually Southern, Mr. Beast, yada yada yada. North Dakota. So actually, who actually lives here? And why is North Dakota so boring that the fact website I'm using has to go so far to list facts as North Dakota is 66 times bigger than Rhode Island, and the Capitol building is the biggest building in North Dakota. You don't even have a cool flag to back you up. Do better, North Dakota. Ohio. I really love Ohio's flag. I know some people really hate it and all other non-rectangular flags, but I think it's really unique. It definitely works great on a pole. Just like a stripper. Other than that, I just don't really like Ohio that much. I'm sorry, it's not like a horrible state or anything, but I just don't like it. But I forgot to mention that my kingy wingy LeBron the LeGoat was born there, so it instantly makes it the best state. Oklahoma, the Pan State, otherwise known as Texas 2.0, but worse in many ways. Also, according to this website, Oklahoma has a lot of really funny place names, which, how did I miss some of these when I was making my funny place names video? You have Cookie Town, 41, IXL, which is the thing that caused me to want to blow my brains out in 4th grade math class, Slaughterville, and finally, gay and straight. Also, it has that panhandle that nobody fucking lives in, so who even cares? Oregon. Dude, I just want to be fucking done with this video. How many states do we got left? Wait, 13 fucking states? Oh my fucking god. Okay. Oregon, Forest Mountain? Are you happy? Dumbass caveman. Pennsylvania. They got some Amish people over there. Also the 5th most populated state, which I didn't actually expect, but it's close to New England, so I guess that makes sense. The Declaration of Independence was signed there, and also a bunch of other facts that are somewhat related to history. Goddamn. Rhode Island. Now, normally, I would say that Rhode Island is a smaller Connecticut, but there's one key fundamental difference between Rhode Island and Connecticut. Rhode Island has Family Guy. The Griffins canonically live in Rhode Island. Connecticut does not have Peter Griffin, Lois Griffin, Stewie Griffin, or any of the Griffins in it. That right there is why Rhode Island is 1,000 times better than Connecticut. Because of Family Guy funny moments. South Carolina. There's a lake in South Carolina called the Alcohol and Drug Abuse Lake. If that doesn't tell you all there is to know about South Carolina, I really don't know what does. Listen, man, it has Mount Rushmore, the Badlands, and also plains. It's cool, I guess. I can definitely feel my fucking self running out of energy for the final 10 states, both writing script and recording this video. Tennessee, birthplace of Mountain Dew, cotton candy, and moon pie. Should be the fucking birthplace of diabetes, goddamn. Big ol', good old Texas. Beautiful flag, shape, food, and yeah, that's the only real thing going for it. But to be fair, that's better than most states mentioned here, so good for you, Texas, I guess. Utah, the state mostly known for the massive number of Mormons there. There's probably... Don't skip. Alright, take number 2. Utah, the state mostly known for the massive number of Mormons there. There's probably a good reason for that, but I'm too lazy to research this far into the video. Also known for the Great Salt Lake, which is in the top 10 biggest lakes in the United States. Also top 10 in multiple categories according to this random source I found. So good job, Utah. Also good job for having some big mountains too. Vermont. Oh look, it's New Hampshire. But slightly worse in almost every aspect. And when I say slightly, I mean slightly. Virginia. Let's go, boys. Final 5. Nice little cute history state. Great state to live in. Washington. I fucking hate looking at this flag. Looks like Washington is looking into my soul and judging every action I've ever done. Sucks that the best shade of green has to be ruined by something that could have been avoided if the people making the flag actually put more fucking effort into it. Country roads, take me home to the place where I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me road, country home. Wisconsin, Minnesota's annoying cheese-eating alcoholic neighbors. JK, we love you, Wisconsin. Welp. Round of a fucking applause. After 12 days of writing, the most I've written for anything ever. No essay has topped this. Obviously no video has topped this. I put so much work into this shit. And we're at the end now. Wyoming includes luscious square borders, Yellowstone, wonderful mountains like Garnet, Grand Teton, and Lizard Head, the smallest population, and it's fucking gorgeous. Thank you, Wyoming, for being such a great state. Thank you for watching this video. This video took me 12 days of writing, 19 days of recording. Thank you, procrastination, so much. In future Kindzakat, edit how long it took you to edit this video. Put that in. Also, future Kindzakat, fuck you. That's it. This should be my longest video for like a year or two. I don't want to do a video this long ever again. Like I said before, like and sub. I don't want to make videos this long. Expect scripted videos like this, but like 10 minutes, maybe even like 15 minutes shorter. Hopefully I can start making videos more. I know the school year is coming up, and I guess I can handle that when that happens. But, yeah, the channel should improve by like way more. I want to get this video out by, I will definitely get this video and upload it by, September 11th, because number one, that's really fucking funny. Second of all, that's the Bear Whisperers, like, that's the anniversary of, his 50 States Summarized video. That came out in 2017, so that would be its 7th year anniversary. Man, that's fucking crazy. So yeah, this video is definitely inspired by that one, and it should be up. I will force myself to be finished with the video and upload it on that video's 7th birthday. Anyway, yeah. For future channel uploads, expect more panda style type videos. But with all that out of the way, I'm fully done recording and writing this video onto the editing stuff now. I hope you enjoyed, just to say at the end, because obviously. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and, yeah, bye. See you in future uploads. Yes, it's fucking over, let's